Adam Ronin here today on a fantastic Fight Game Friday. That's cheering if you didn't know. Today we're reviewing one of your favorite things, and that is a fight stick. Now, Gordy and I have always told you we will review fight sticks if they are unique and different from the norm, and today we are presented with just that, something that is unique and different from the norm. So we kind of partnered with FightStickAsia.com as well as MixBoxArcade.com to review the MixBox Arcade controller. So this is, have you ever thought in yourself in your life, you're just sitting around playing video games and you thought, man, I want to combine this, a nice mechanical keyboard with my awesome fight stick, because that would bridge the worlds of PC gaming into fight gaming and arcade gaming into one. Well, boom, they've done just that with the MixBox Arcade controller. So let's just dig right into it and start with the design and the functionality of this bad mama jama. Okay, so I'm on, let's just kind of get some of the specifics out of the way. So this particular stick comes in at 5.5 pounds, which when I first got it, I thought it was much heavier. So, but indeed, per the website, this is 5.5 pounds. And you do have your standard 30 millimeter San Denshi buttons. And over here on the side where you would normally have your joystick, or if you have a hitbox where you'd have your 24 millimeter buttons, you instead have a WASD style red cherry mechanical keycaps that double as your movement functionality. The casing is a nice solid metallic that you have, and then of course on your back you have a compartment for your cable that just is completely removable. Cable just stuffs right inside there, as well as you have your standard home start and select 30 millimeter SanWas. And that's the entire functionality of the thing. One thing that it doesn't have that you might notice right off the bat is similar to hitbox and things, does not have the locking functionality for your home and start and select button functionality. So if you're playing in a tournament, be careful not to touch those because you don't want to be DQ'd. God, that would suck. But that is face value what it comes with. So like I mentioned before, when this puppy's on your lap, it comes in at a nice, a good hefty 5.5 pounds. Going from front to back, you're looking at a 9 inches here, and then from your width from side to side, you're looking at 14.9 inches. So it's about standard, and I would say it's pretty comparable to your TE2 size, if you still have one of those. A little bit bigger than what you would have on your Razer Panthera, and right in line between all of the rest of the sticks that you would find here and there, like hitbox and things like that. I don't have a comparison on me right now, but I feel like it's a little bit heavier because of the metallic casing, but it feels nice and comfortable in your lap because you know it's not going to slide around and go anywhere. It does have nice nubbies on the back to sit on your table, which I feel like it's almost preferred for that to be for its functionality to play on, but on the lap we experienced no problems, no discomfort at all. So in our initial testings with this, we sat down with Dragon Ball Fighters, and we sat down and we just played through some training mode, a little bit of versus mode, and honestly, if you're coming from playing on a keyboard, you're going to be very familiar movement wise. If you're coming from playing on a standard regular arcade stick, there's a significant learning curve here. It's no different than if you're going from a stick to a hitbox. Big learning curve there as well. If you're coming from a hitbox to this, also a little bit of adjustment you need to make because your WSAD buttons are just as they would be on your standard keyboard, where this is, the red is down, left and right, and you're up. Where in your hitbox, your up button is actually a big 30 millimeter button down here, which I kept wanting to go to. I kept wanting this to be my down, so it took me a little bit of time to get used to that, but it played actually really smoothly. More than I would expect because I'm not a PC gamer, but no more than 10-15 minutes was I feeling comfortable with the WSAD layout, and of course the buttons over here are, as you would expect, standard hotness. So when we were playing this, and one thing I want to note about those of you who know Gordy and I pretty well from playing, is Gordy is not a huge stick player. Neither of us are really. But he found in playing that the quarter circle forward motions for fireballs and stuff were much easier to perform and knock out on this. Much like on hitbox, I feel like, because it's basically like you're playing with a piano, bam, and stuff happens. Same type of thing here, stuff happens, and it's very smooth and very quickly to get used to when you're playing through it. Now, we don't dig super deep into frame delays and stuff like that when it comes to latency and whatnot, but as you can see in this clip here, it almost seems like it's super comparable to a DS4. I didn't find any lag or latency on this, as I have found in other sticks and converters and things like that. I think it was actually pretty solid. Now, to contribute to that, when we open this up and look at what the board is inside, we couldn't really find any information of what the board was on there. Website doesn't say much, and we didn't really get a lot of information from Pcb Asia when we were discussing, so I'm unsure what kind of board is in here, but if you're unhappy with it, very easy to change out, it looks like. So speaking of the board, when we pop this bad boy open, as you can see, there's a lot of empty space in there. Buttons are laid out as you would totally expect from every other stick you played on. The PCB board is a little bit flimsy in there, held together by one screw, but easily changeable should you so need. So buttons are easily changeable. You can switch out these keycaps very easily. The art, we didn't unscrew the top paneling to try to replace the art, but I suspect it would be no different than like a TE2. Just pop up. Not sure if this art is stuck onto the paneling, so I couldn't really speak to you on the difficulties there, but if it's just laid under, it'd be very easy to take out and put in should you have a nice template to do so. We'll see if we can't find some of those, because that would be fun to design. But modding capabilities, I think, would actually be very friendly on this. Let's kind of get into my personal feelings on the stick and who this is really for, and kind of wrap this puppy up. So initially, when I first saw the stick, I was a bit baffled by the notion. I was like, well, to me as a consumer and as a player, it doesn't particularly appeal to me because I am not a PC gamer, and gaming on the keyboard with a WSAD movement has always been a sore spot and reason why I don't play on keyboards, because I do prefer controllers, or if I'm on sticks, the hitbox layout or a stick. But in having tried it out, it actually does function much better than expected. So this really does bridge the gap between playing on a PC on your keyboard and mouse to switching to a fight stick. It's an interesting intermediate option there for you if you wanted to do that, and you could become very competitive on the stick. So if you are that particular player who's like, I want to get into fighting games, I particularly play keyboard and mouse, but I would love to try out a fight stick, this is an awesome way to bridge those two universes into one product before you jump over strictly to a stick or you jump to a hitbox. Might be a cool intermediate option for you. That being said, well, how much does this cost? And that's an interesting point of discussion, because right now the product's pricing is in flux, but when its pricing is nailed down by MixBox and Pcb Asia, you can expect that this will launch at a comparable price to what you are used to paying for fight sticks and hitboxes and stuff like that. Not going to be too crazy, not going to be super underpriced. It is very solid. You do feel like you're paying for a nice girthy stick here, so to speak. So it will be worth the price when it comes out, depending on what kind of consumer you are. I do still personally feel more comfortable on a hitbox layout rather than the MixBox, but that could change over time depending on how much time I spend with this. So I don't think I'm going to score this on our 10-point scale, just because I don't like to do that with fight sticks, but I do think it is worth the purchase if this is marketed towards you and this does fit your niche of playing, wanting to bridge those two things. Absolutely, it's super cool. I'm super grateful that we were able to work with Pcb Asia on this to do this, because it is a very interesting and unique product, which is what I like to review when it comes to fight sticks. Unique, different things. So guys, if you want to discuss it, you want to know more about it, you have any further questions, you know where those comments are, or you can get me on Twitter and we'll talk a little bit further about it. But of course, naturally, if you want one of these on your own, you could go to MixBoxArcade.com and check it out, and maybe get one of these bad boys in your house. Alright guys, that's it. We are out. We're going to go play with this a little bit more, and we'll see you for the next Ronin review, or Fight Game Friday, or both.